We're gonna talk about that last video that we made, Stray Kids, of why I'm not reacting to the Stray Kids song that came out. Which, at the end of the day, I will say I completely stand behind my original sentiment of what I said in that video. I choose not to support people who support a genocide. Now, I got a lot of interesting comments on that video, and a lot of comments that really made me think. A lot of comments that honestly stressed me out because I was like, oh man, am I really this ignorant that I didn't know about these things? And then I got some other comments that just straight pissed me off. Now, we'll get number one out of the way. People's worries about stray kids. Now, on a personal level, big time fan of Stray Kids. I very much enjoy them. I love their music. I like their mentality on a lot of things. But I'm disappointed in their choices to go through with this song, with this partnership, because not only was it Charlie Puth, but also his producer, who, to be honest with you, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Both are Zionist supporters, as well as just not great individuals from what I've read, with a lot of different allegations put on both of them. So it's one of those things for me. It's like, let's be more careful of who we decide to partner ourselves with, because at the end of the day, you're always going to be judged by the people that you keep around yourselves, right? Whether or not you guys are awesome or not is honestly very directly correlated to the company that you keep. So if you're going to keep company with people like that, it's bad news. I'm also very disappointed. I've not seen anything said by the Stray Kids or even JYP or anything in regards to the concerns and questions that a lot of the fans are having. So are we fully boycotting Stray Kids? No. Not at this point. Definitely going to be boycotting that song for sure. And then, because of that, a lot of people were saying, well, if you're going to stand up to this one song, you need to stand up to them all. And by them all, it means the big four companies in K-pop, the big labels. Now, personally, and this is only one weekend's worth of research, I didn't really find anything particularly damning to any of those companies in regards to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, or as I like to call it, the full-on genocide being caused by the Israeli government, the Zionist cause. So, what up, Raccoon? Fuck, what was I just saying? Yeah, sorry. So there hasn't been anything directly correlating them to it besides pretty much their partnerships with Starbucks and or McDonald's. Now, in terms of the McDonald's accusations, I honestly haven't really found anything really kind of showing their partnerships with them besides past partnerships. I don't really see many new ones coming up, and I don't see them like promoting the brand at all, kind of like we've seen with Starbucks, where we've seen idols drinking Starbucks in live streams, or they're being caught with paparazzi pictures and whatnot. That would be concerning, right? And then upon more research, guys, Starbucks is not in support of Israel. In fact, they got brought into this boycott strictly word of mouth. If you look at any of the official boycott lists, Starbucks is not actually on any of them. The reason why Starbucks is getting boycotted was because, unfortunately for them, around the time when all the corporate boycotting started, was sorry, it was they were having a lawsuit with their union, or, sorry, their workers union, right? Apparently, the workers' union, labor union, was using Starbucks's logo within their own logo, so they're basically suing them for, I don't know, copyright infringement or something. I'm not exactly sure what that was. However, that is still a very bad thing. I'm like not a fan of that in the slightest, you know, but that's a whole different subject matter, right? But then because Starbucks was already being boycotted, it got brought in on social media of saying, yeah, they support the Zionist movement, but there's no actual proof of it. So, in a weird way, Starbucks has been royally fucked by this whole thing when, you know, they were doing a bad thing. It just wasn't the bad thing that they're getting in trouble for. You know what I mean? Um, so the idols drinking Starbucks, in my eyes, that's not them showing support, right? I do think it is weird though how a lot of those big companies, especially in the videos that they had of like behind the scenes stuff or whatever, typically they blur out labels and whatnot, but for whatever reason they didn't do it to the Starbucks things, which honestly really has fueled the fire. So that one is a weird one. Now, another big thing that was brought into contingency here was like, what do these people have anything to do with this war? First off, I don't even consider this much of a war. This is a absolute beating that is happening currently, and one side is hardly fighting back while the other one is just utterly obliterating the other side. Now, this isn't a one-time deal. You know, this whole Palestinian attack that happened in October, which again, I will say over and over again, and people keep saying that I'm saying it's not a bad thing. It's very much a bad thing. They should not have attacked Israel. They shouldn't have killed those people. They shouldn't have taken hostages. It's very bad. That is Hamas. That was their own little sector of Palestinians doing a very bad thing. Now, do I believe that all of Palestine should be punished for it? Abso-fucking-lutely not. They should not be. Israel has the technology to be able to see who and what they are targeting, and they have chosen to target mass groups of people, so I will never be behind that. Again, as well as all the shit that is going on, I do not hate Jewish people, I hate Zionist people, right? In fact, if you are actually watching, there's plenty of Jewish people in Israel currently, probably at this very moment, maybe not this very moment, because I'm pretty sure it's like the middle of the night over there, but maybe they are, I don't know. But they're actively protesting their government, just like our country is actively protesting against our government for being a part of some really fucked up shit. Now, I know McDonald's, I know their whole deal is they've been feeding, like Raccoon just said, is that they've been feeding the soldiers and stuff. So I'm still on board of the McDonald's boycott as well. I'm just saying for the Starbucks one, it didn't make any sense. You know? Shit, what was I saying? Yeah, so so when it comes to the overarching debate of this whole thing, please, for the love of God, stop saying I hate Jewish people because of this. I do not. I like them quite a bit, actually. I know plenty of awesome Jewish people who do not support the Israeli government and what they're doing. And to top it off, for the people saying, what does it matter that you're taking a stand and doing something about it? It very much, you know, as a single individual person, it doesn't really matter all that much in the grand scheme of things. However, the more people who stand up and say something about it, it does, in fact, cause change. In fact, if you look at the college campuses here in the United States, the fact that they've been protesting and getting beaten by the police and basically just giving everybody a nice old history lesson of how people were treated during the Vietnam War era, of how the college kids were abused and taken advantage of and all that kind of shit while they protested. We're just seeing it all happen again. And it has hit so hard at this point that the US government is finally starting to back off. They haven't fully, but they're starting. It's happening. Things are working. That is why we do these things, right? Yes. And then people were saying South Korea has nothing to do with what is going on. And you couldn't be more horribly incorrect. In fact, South Korea is part of the UN. And they actively have voted to make sure that Palestine is a part of the UN. They are an official, recognized state, or sorry, country, excuse me. So South Korea is definitely involved, right? They definitely are a part of this. They actually are in support of Palestine. So it is a good thing. What else? What else am I missing? Oh, yes. So last but not certainly least, this is where my heart breaks. Even more, you know, obviously my heart's been breaking for this whole entire thing. It's been a really, really terrible fucking thing to see happening. And it's like, yeah, I don't even have money I can send. I'm fucking broke. You know, I'm barely scraping by now, but I have a voice, you know. I don't like to think that I do, but at the end of the day, it's like I got 21,000 subscribers here who may potentially see this video, and they might see it and might do something. You know, there's an awesome quote that's super famous that I'm going to share with you guys now. It's by a gentleman called Edmund Burke, and it is the only thing necessary for evil to triumph in this world is that good men do nothing. So, at the end of the day here, we all need to step up and do something. You know, we got to stop just listening to what people above us are telling us, and we need to actually do our own research. Now, upon what breaks my K-pop heart is that Hybe has the only valid reason in my eyes personally to boycott them. And that fucking sucks because some of my top favorite groups are from Hybe. And besides the fact that Hybe has just been awful at running their own organization, their own company, or whatever, you know, the big bad here, of course, is when you come over to the US side of Hybe, and this freaking idiot of a dude that they hired as the CEO of Hybe USA is named Scooter Braun, which already silly name. Very silly name. But he has outright been a active supporter of the Israeli government, the Zionist movement. And so much so that he has also categorized the protesters here in the United States at the college campuses and more or less just called them all Nazis. Which, for me, that is the nail in the coffin. No, not doing it. Now, where my heart comes into conflict here is obviously you guys know BTS is, I mean, honestly, it's the biggest thing Hybe has going for it, right? They are literally what got me into the K-pop world in general. Yeah, it's a corporate entity, exactly. But their product is their music, right? And that's unfortunately going to be the way that we can hurt said corporate company. Now, the hard part in this, the place where I find myself lost and confused, is when the idols themselves are pro-Palestine, but the corporate overseer is pro-Israeli. How do you go about this, right? It's a huge moral dilemma for me Because, in fairness, the only ones out of the Hybe entertainment pool that I've seen say anything about any of this are all from BTS, where I think they probably have said as much as they can say as idols without getting fired or, getting reprimanded. And that's by just sharing pro-Palestinian artwork on their social medias. The other hard part is, too, they're all in the military right now, so they can't exactly speak up for themselves. So it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. And it's confusing. It scares me quite a bit. I've been stressed out about this all weekend while I've been doing research. I have barely slept because I feel so terrible and I mean, if we're being honest too, like, there's part of me that's like, man, I'm about to kill my own channel here for this movement. Which, as I did more and more research, I realized, no, I don't actually have to kill the entire channel. But I think I still have to support the boycott against Hybe. It's not an easy thing for me to say. In fact, a lot of you guys have been very kind and say you have to follow your heart and do what you think is right. And at this point, I do think not following through with reactions for Hybe would be the move that I need to make. I know it's not going to make a lot of people happy. I know it's not going to be necessarily a positive thing here on the channel. I'm going to have to change up a few things that we have actively running, like some of our Patreon material is literally an entire Hybe competition show that I'm now going to stop watching. I will say this isn't me fully done with the company. I hope that they wake the hell up and they stand up for what's right in this world, and they grow a little bit of a backbone and do something about this, because all the rest of the world has already. It has been made abundantly clear through so many other countries, governments and stuff, that they are on the side of Palestine, that they see this as genocide. It's the International World Court is also saying that as well. So it's like, yeah, I think for now that's going to be the move that we do, and I'm going to stick to it. However, I mean, we still have tons and tons of artists that we do listen to on the regular, so there's not going to be a lack of entertainment for you guys. Again, if it's something that makes you guys feel uncomfortable with being here for my channel, that's a-okay. I'm not going to judge you for not wanting to watch me do reactions to other groups and whatnot. So it does break my heart that there are people out there who don't necessarily see things the way I do, but at the end of the day, everybody gets to view things on their own. I do want to encourage everybody to be out there actually doing their own research rather than just listening to people online. In fact, you shouldn't believe me at all. You should never take my word as fact. You should always look into it on your own and make sure that I'm not just bullshitting you like so many other people probably have. So that's all I have to say about that. So again, Hybe, please divest from your affiliations with Israel, even if that just means getting rid of Mr. Scooter Braun. That would be good enough in my eyes, to be honest. Also, just a side note, this has nothing to do with Israel or Palestine, but just run your company better, Hybe. Just run it better, because like I also saw a bunch of news about like the mistreatment of a lot of their other groups, and it sucks to see that too. So do better, Hybe. Do better. Also, I will say this before I wrap this up completely. I am very much an open book. If I'm wrong about any of this stuff, please actually send me information, data, news articles, whatever. You know, I want to know. I want to be able to educate myself better as well. I can just tell you the things that I have found on my own. You know, maybe some of the big four companies actually do have ties that I just missed or whatever. You know, let me know. That's all I can say. It's the best I got, and oh, that's actually a great idea, Raccoon. I don't know them off the top of my head, but I will have linked down below. I'm gonna take all my own personal links out um, from this video when I post it on YouTube. But I'm gonna look into the best charities that we can get on there that you can possibly go ahead and donate to, which would be really freaking awesome. I feel silly that I didn't think of that myself. So thank you, Raccoon, for adding that in. And yeah, again, please, for the love of God, let me know what you guys think, and let's keep this fight up. It's well worth it, and human lives are worth it at the end of the day. So yeah, thank you. I don't know how to end the video now. I feel weird.